Let's talk about specifically about Donald Trump and his presidency. You know, there's been a lot of talk about one of the most bizarre presidencies in the U.S., his handshakes, his use of bold statements, perhaps, contradictory statements. Give us a sense of that.
Well, I think President Trump is a work in progress. I think no man comes to this job, which is so overwhelming. You got the nuclear football following you around. You've got complexity on anything that's ever occurred in a real estate deal. Dealing with the Congress is not the same as negotiating what happens with an office tower. So I think the president is learning about that. Hopefully that learning curve will not take too long. I do believe that with what he's done and appointing people like Ken Juster is very helpful in that regard. He has some understanding about India. He's done business there, may still be doing business there, which raises another issue. But my view is that what we have is a very strong underlying relationship. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, is only 1/3 of the federal government establishment, much less what we have as a federal system like the Indian system, what happens at the state level, what happens in private business. All those are really a part of the U.S.-India relationship. Now, President Trump can move it forward or he can be a handicap. And I'm voting for his moving it forward, and I think that he'll do that.
And lastly, let me also ask you, is he too busy with domestic policies, dealing with the Russian allegations, dealing with Obamacare, dealing with taxes, to address some of the more critical foreign policies, including the fight on terrorism and building ties with other world leaders?
Well, that is a distraction. There is no question about it, from basic security kinds of situations and what the U.S. and India need to do in regard to terrorism, in regard to China, in regard to what happens in Afghanistan, across the board. So it is a distraction. I won't sugarcoat that at all. And there are a lot of holes in the administration. We don't even have an Assistant Secretary of State for South Asia at this point. The ambassadorship is empty. And there are distractions, but as we say in the United States, you've got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. There is hope in regard to what happens on Monday, that those kinds of distraction will be put behind him for enough time to be able to concentrate on issues between the U.S. and India.
Let's talk about China and Pakistan as well. When you mentioned that, how crucial is that? Is Trump just playing a diplomatic game with all three countries?
I don't think so. I think that there's a realization that India and the United States is the relationship which is key. Now, India wants good relationships with China. They'd like to have better relationships with Pakistan. It is very worrisome that China and Pakistan, the One Belt, One Road coming through territory in Kashmir, all of those things are very worrisome, but that is an indication of why we need to be able to take this relationship to the next level. We have in place from the Obama administration, from the Bush administration, from the Clinton administration, the kinds of processes that can deal with those. And what the man at the top has to say, what President Trump needs to say is, yes, we're going forward with those, and then we can deal with problems like what happens between China and Pakistan.